Hello everyone. In last part we have seen about causes and pathophysiology of malaria. So in this part we will discuss about signs and symptoms, differential clinical features of each species of Plasmodium larvae and diagnosis about malaria. So myself Dr. Anandas, Assistant Professor, Department of Shoganidana एवं विद्युत विज्ञान, Global Institute of Ayurveda, Rajkot. About signs and symptoms of malaria, initial manifestation of the disease are similar to flu-like symptoms and can resemble other conditions such as sepsis, gastroenteritis, and viral diseases. So, in foremost conditions, the symptoms will resemble like a flu-like symptoms only in case of malaria, and this will be common to all type of malaria species. Along with that, it will resemble like other conditions of sepsis, gastroenteritis, and viral diseases also. The classic symptom of malaria is paroxysm. Plasmodium falciparum infection can cause recurrent fever every 36 to 48 hours or a less pronounced and almost continuous fever. So, especially in case of Plasmodium falciparum species infection, a chance of recurrent fever will be there, which will be lasting for 36 to 48 hours, and this will be like almost continuous in nature. Severe malaria is usually caused by Plasmodium falciparum species, especially often referred to as falciparum malaria. So the foremost clinical symptom which you can find in case of malaria is paroxysm only. So what does mean by paroxysm? Paroxysm is cyclical occurrence of sudden coldness followed by shivering and then fever and sweating occurring every 2 days. Especially it will resemble like a tertian kind of fever. The features will be especially sudden feeling of the coldness and followed by shivering and then onset of fever will be there. Along with the fever, sweating also will be there, which will be occurring in every 2 days. The paroxysm will be especially manifesting in infections which is caused by Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium ovale infections, and every 3 days it will be termed as quartan fever, and for Plasmodium malaria species. So for Plasmodium malaria species it will be quartan fever, and for Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium ovale infections it will be tertian fever in nature. This will be the specialty regarding to paroxysm as a main clinical symptom which you can find under malaria. You will see some general signs and symptoms of malaria. First of all, headache and onset of fever will be there anyhow. Appearance of chills and shivering along with the fever, vomiting, joint pain, jaundice, hemolytic anemia, splenomegaly, HP in urine, especially presence of blood in urine, retinal damage to the eye and convulsions. So this much will be the general signs and symptoms which you can find over the patient. These are the general signs and symptoms of the malaria: headache, fever, chills and shivering, vomiting, joint pain, jaundice, hemolytic anemia, splenomegaly, presence of HB in urine, retinal damage and convulsions. So fever as a main cardinal feature which you can find in case of malaria. The fever itself you can subdivide into as 3 stages, especially in cases of malaria. So the 3 substages of fever are first of all cold stage, hot stage, and sweating stage. We will see about the peculiar features of these 3 stages of the fever, which you can find as a cardinal symptom of malaria. First of all, cold stage. What does it mean by cold stage? Especially appearance of rigor and headache will be there in case of a cold stage. Presence of rigor all over the body and headache will be there as a clinical feature of cold stage. The second stage, nothing but hot stage. The features will be especially intense heat will be present over the body, dry burning skin, throbbing headache which will be last for 2 to 6 hours. This will be the features of the second stage called hot stage, and the last stage nothing but sweating stage, which will show the features like profuse sweating all over the body, declining temperature or any kind of reduction in temperature, and it will be patient will be weak in nature and it will last for 2 to 4 hours. This will be the common features of 3 substages of the fever. Fever as a cardinal feature of malaria. For different species of Plasmodium larvae, it will show different kinds of clinical symptoms over the body. So we will see some of the different and important species which will be causing different types of malaria over our body and with the meaning. So first of all, first variety, algid malaria. The algid malaria will be causing by Plasmodium falciparum species. And what does it mean by algid malaria? Severe malaria affecting the cardiovascular system. The malaria which will affecting the cardiovascular system, and this will cause chills and circulatory shock. The next variety, cerebral malaria. The causative pathogen will be Plasmodium falciparum species, and the severe malaria affecting the cerebrum, that will be called as cerebral malaria. And the next variety, congenital malaria, which will be causing by various species of the Plasmodium. And the congenital malaria means Plasmodium introduced from the mother via the fetal circulation. So the Plasmodium will be passed to the fetus through the mother. Quartan malariae, malaria, Plasmodium malariae, the other variety. The causative organism is Plasmodium malariae. Features will be paroxysm every fourth day, quartan fever, counting the day of occurrence as the first day. Quotidian malariae, causative organism will be Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax. Clinical feature will be presence of paroxysm daily, especially like the feature of quotidian fever. Tertian malariae, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale and Plasmodium vivax will be the positive organisms. Clinical feature will be paroxysm every third day, that will be tertian day, counting the day of occurrence as the first. And transfusion malaria, which will be caused by various types of Plasmodia larvae. Feature will be Plasmodium introduced by blood transfusion, especially by blood transfusion. This Plasmodium will be introduced to the person, or through needle sharing, or through needle stick injury. Next is classification. Malaria is classified into either severe or uncomplicated by the World Health Organization. So according to WHO, they have considered malaria in two classifications, either severe or uncomplicated states. It is deemed severe when any of the following criteria are present. Otherwise, it is considered as uncomplicated. So with respect to the following explained features, the particular case will be considered as either severe or uncomplicated with the presence or absence of these set of symptoms. So those symptoms or those criteria are decreased consciousness, significant weakness such that the person is unable to walk, inability to feed, 2 or more convulsions, low blood pressure, especially less than 70 mmHg in adults and 50 mmHg in children, breathing problems, presence of circulatory shock, kidney failure or hemoglobin in the urine, bleeding problems or hemoglobin less than 50 gram per liter, pulmonary edema, blood glucose less than 2.2 millimole per liter, acidosis or lactate levels of greater than 5 millimole per liter. So, depends upon these criteria points, we will be consider the particular case of malaria is coming under either severe or uncomplicated. Diagnosis of malaria. In cases like non-specific nature of the presentation of symptoms, diagnosis of malaria might be elicited by any of the following. Recent travel history we should consider. The condition of enlarged splenomegaly, onset of fever, low number of platelets in the blood and higher than normal levels of bilirubin in the blood combined with a normal level of white blood cells. So especially less number of platelets in the blood and along with the higher than normal levels of the bilirubin content in the blood, again with combined condition of with a normal level of white blood cells also. Incubation period 10 to 40 days for Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium falciparum species. For Plasmodium malaria species 28 to 30 days. Symptoms may appear in cycles. So with respect to cyclic nature, the symptoms will be appearing. The time between episodes of fever and other symptoms vary with the species. So each species it will be different. Episodes of symptoms may occur every 48 hours if infected with the Plasmodium ovale and Plasmodium vivax, every 72 hours if infected with the Plasmodium malaria species. Some lab diagnosis points for malaria: microscopic diagnosis, which is the blood smear examination, fluorescent microscopy, quantitative buffet coat QBC, and antigen detection, especially immunochromatographic dipstick method RDT, serological test like IFA, immunofluorescent assay, ELISA test, and based on molecular diagnosis, PCR, polymerase chain reaction, and real-time polymerase chain reaction also we will be conducting. Depends upon complete blood count, leukopenia, presence of thrombocytopenia condition, monocytosis, elevated ESR level should be elicited. This chart is explained about blood smear examination coming under microscopical diagnosis. So the blood sample of the patient will be examined under microscope in laboratory premises, especially after staining process. So with respect to each species, the different states of the larva will be colored in different ways, especially for ring form, especially for trophozoite form, especially for schizone and gametocyte. So with respect to each steps which will be coming under the life cycle and pathophysiology of malaria, for any kind of or any species of malarial larva, even if for Falciparum vivax, malarial oval or novelis species, the different colors will be attained by the different stages or different structures of malaria larvae. So this will be examined under microscopical purposes. So with respect to each cell structure, it will be varying. RDT. Malaria is usually confirmed by the microscopic examination of blood films or by antigen-based rapid diagnostic test. So it's the most common used technique, that is rapid diagnostic test. Specialized card-like structure will be there as shown in the picture, which will be accommodated with a window, a square hole for in order to put the blood sample, and a round hole for in order to observe with the buffer reactions. With respect to the reaction taken place in the well or in the round hole, within the window the results will be displaying, and it will be showing like presence of a control line or presence of a test line. This will be named as Rapid Diagnostic Test Kit RDT. With respect to the different findings, we should differentiate with the negative for the particular sample. Especially as 2 drops of copper solution will be adding to that round hole, and along with that for the square hole we should add with the blood sample, and thereby we should examine or we should observe for the presence of the lines, especially C line or a T line. If only C line is presenting, it will be negative. Along with the C line, T line also presenting, the test will be positive. And in case of mixed infection cases, more than 3 red lines will be seen in the window side. Antigen capture test. To detect trophozoite especially, derived protein can be used for rapid diagnosis without need for microscopic examination. So without going with the microscopic examination, in order to detect the presence of trophozoite within the blood sample, a derived protein we will be used, especially for rapid diagnosis. That is antigen capture test. Malaria antigen detection tests are a group of commercially available rapid diagnostic tests of the rapid antigen test type that allow quick diagnosis of malaria by people. So this is the most foremost using type of diagnosis. A major drawback in the use of all current dipstick methods is that the result is essentially qualitative. That will be the only drawback with respect to the rapid diagnostic test, which including any kind of test doing with this type of samples. QBC test tube, the method which accredit orange staining in the quantitative buffet coat tube system. That is quantitative buffet coat tube system, which will be useful with the actinic orange staining for identifying malaria parasite in the peripheral blood. This will be the main aim for performing with the QBC tube test in order to find out the malarial parasite within the peripheral blood. It is provided with a simple fluorescence microscope system consisting of a battery powered and a special ultraviolet lens and a battery powered centrifuge. The procedure will be fill the capillary tube with the patient sample, coat with acridine orange special dye which will be using for a QBC tube test, especially it will be in fluorescent dye only for the correct working, and it will be subjected for centrifugation. After that, after centrifugation, observe under fluorescent microscope. There you can find out, you can observe with the presence of malarial parasite under the fluorescent microscopic examination. This is the pictorial representation of the QBC tube. Different layers you can see within the QBC tube with embedded with the different stains with, or different colors or dyes. First of all, in order to find out with the plasma layer, then aggregation of platelet layer. After that, aggregation or accumulation of lymphocytes or monocyte layer. Beneath that, the granulocyte layer formation, and after that, red blood cell formation. So within this distribution, you can find out with the QBC tube test where and it will be mostly accumulated. There you should go with the further centrifugation, and after that go with the fluorescent microscopic examination. So within these layers you can find out what will be the major area or foremost area where you can find out the different larval states of the plasmodium larvae. So first of all, with respect to plasma layer, precision plastic float will be there especially, and with respect to platelets layer and lymphocyte or monocyte layer, gametocytes can be there. After that, schizones will be present with respect to granulocyte layer. Beneath that, with respect to red blood cells layer, mature trophocytes will be sediment over that layer. After that, ring forms or immature trophocytes will be sedimented over red blood cells layer portion. This will be the common arrangement of a QBC tube method. Gene amplification by polymerase chain reaction. Methods that use the polymerase chain reaction to detect the parasite's DNA have been developed in order to detect with the DNA structure and modalities. Gene amplification by PCR will be adopting. The next step is immunological diagnosis. Immunological diagnosis is possible by looking for malarial antibodies using immunofluorescent antibody IFA in addition to ELISA methods. Immunofluorescent assay is sensitive and relatively simple but cannot be automated. That will be the one drawback in immunological diagnosis, especially in immunofluorescent assay for a malarial parasite detection. And ELISA is also sensitive, simple, cost effective, and can be automated. So this will be the diagnosis of malaria. So here we will finish the third part of malaria. So in next part we will discuss with the risk factors, complications, and some more additional information about malarial parasite. Thank you.